Yeah, I got Stacy's mom stuck in my head for some reason this morning, fellas. How you doing? How you doing? Welcome to the final Wednesday morning edition of the Hat and Beard Show. I, of course, am James with the Hat and Beard Show. You're an attentive audience, and we are locked in for a Wednesday edition, bringing you news and notes from around the NFL, as well as talking about Lions information. Before we get into it, I did find this, one of my favorite content creators, Ricky and the Boss. Ricky and the Boss. It just made me chuckle. So here is an electrician's lunchbox. Why is it so heavy? Let's check this out before we get into the show. It just had me laughing.
Hey, Sparky, you forgot your lunchbox, man.
Oh, thank you. I almost forgot. Here, let me grab it.
I can grab it for you. I'm headed that way. Sweet Jesus!
I told you, let me grab it. It's kind of heavy, ain't it?
Man, what is in here? This thing's like 50 pounds.
Just some Tupperware. You know, my coffee thermos.
Here, take it. What's your Tupperware made out of? Cast iron?
Cast iron? You're such a joker, man. Let me take that from you. Don't ever touch my lunchbox again, okay?
Don't ever touch my lunchbox.
Don't worry about how heavy it is when I leave every day.
Okay. All right. I'll see you tomorrow. That was weird, right?
Yeah, that kind of was weird. I mean, I use the forklift to load up all the scrap copper I steal. That boy's gonna hurt his back.
Hey, Sparky,
He goes, I use the fork truck to move all the scrap copper I steal. That boy's gonna hurt his back. Come on, man. Oh, man, that's some funny stuff. You know what else is some funny stuff? The thought that the Browns were going to keep Jim Schwartz after interviewing him, telling him he's not good enough for the job. Jim Schwartz said it'd have been a bad situation if I'd have stayed with the Brown Eyes. Yes, sir. It would have been a bad situation. Unfortunately, he said, hey, you're not good enough. But will you keep working here? No, that's dumb. Speaking of making wrong decisions and failing upwards, did you guys know that the general manager of the Browns during basically the whole who was the fat dude that was there? Who was that fat guy? With Baker and Johnny Manziel and Kaiser and all them. Basically, that drought there, prior to Baker Mayfield's ascension, basically that stretch where the Browns were really, really bad. You know that GM is now the president of the Baltimore Ravens? My point being is that in today's American workforce, after you reach a certain echelon of managerial class or a certain echelon of what is a predetermined elite level role, regardless of what happens to you, you are routinely recycled and regurgitated, if not spit out into a higher position, right? Now, there might be a little bit of a cut here, but the Lions bringing in former Miami Dolphins GM Chris Grier. I just did skim this real quick, and I noticed, pay attention here, Jeremy Reisman. Bro, what's with all the Michigan Ammies? Former Michigan Ammy Dolphins GM Chris Grier joins the Lions as a personnel executive. Considering how the Dolphins finished, one would kind of think an individual like a Chris Grier would be the last person you want anywhere near a professional football team. Hell, even if I was in a college, collegiate program, I'd be like, no, I'm good. I seen what you did, and I don't want to have anything. But in the NFL and executive rooms and managerial classes, once you're in a certain echelon of a predetermined career field, you can do effectively no wrong, right? Just think of like a guy like not even a high-ranking member. Think about a guy like Jeffrey Toobin, right? You and I had Toobined ourselves, we wouldn't have no job. But when you're in a certain predetermined class, you're allowed to do anything and everything while given infinite chances. Absolutely disgusting. Absolutely just pisses me off, man. Hopefully we get a pick out of it or something. Pick my nose, dude. A to Z Sports. This is an article I wanted to read yesterday, guys, but I plain old ran out of time. NFL experts say the Lions quietly made one of the most important free agent moves of the offseason. One that could contribute to a Super Bowl. That's right. The Lions didn't make a big splash in free agency outside of signing Cade Mays, one of the best up-and-coming centers in the league. But ESPN believes a quiet move they made could end up being one of the most important of the entire offseason and a real factor in a Super Bowl run. Boy, that's quite a statement to hang on an individual who's coming off of an injured season. And all the ties to the Rams continue to regurgitate. Hey, follow me on Twitter. There's a link down in the bio. I still stand by my statement that the Rams, the reality behind the Rams acquiring Myles Garrett and trying to get Aaron Donald to come out of retirement is they've seen what the Detroit Lions have done with their offensive coordinator roles, divvying it up between two of the brightest minds, young minds in the NFL, and what we did to our offensive line, the retooling, redesigning, and refurbishing. Right, the readjustments, the shuffling, the movements to an absolute dominant unit. And the Rams looked at what the Detroit Lions have done and they said, oh, shit! Shit! Now what are we going to do? We got to go get some. We got to go get Myles Garrett. We got to bring back Aaron Donald. Oh, shit. It's like they in case of fire, break glass. Well, they smashed everything. And, of course, this individual used to play for the Rams. Who am I talking about? Roger McCreary. We will talk about Roger McCreary and how he could be one of the most important free agent moves of the offseason according to ESPN. I don't know about all that and them apples, but that's because I'm rooting for some people. And then finally, we'll end our day with Lions news. NFL analyst predicts Jahmyr Gibbs to win the 2026 2,600 yards, 26 touchdowns in the Big 2-6. Big 2-6 coming in the Big 2-6. NFL Network's Kyle Brandt offers an entirely bold take on Jahmyr Gibbs. Will win Offensive Player of the Year. Just to top it off, maybe Jahmyr Gibbs in the Big 2-6 getting 2,600 offensive production yards and 26 touchdowns should go back to wearing 2-6 in the Big 2-6. Let's go, you guys. Kyle Brandt is going to crack open a monster, and Kyle's going to tell us how it is about Jahmyr Gibbs, guys. So we will be reading that, and the other thing, and checking out your comments and all that stuff. We're just kind of floating through on Wednesday, final Wednesday morning. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, ring that notification bell, turn the notification bell on, right, so that you can be notified. I don't need you showing up next Wednesday at 10 a.m. going, where are you, hat and beard? Well, I'm not going to be here. Lights are on, nobody's home. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. It's closing time. One last call for alcohol, so finish your whiskey or beer, right? We will be live, though, 7 to 8 p.m. moving forward. Hit the like button and share this around with all your friends. I'm going to hand it over to my guy, Jocko, and we're getting into the show.
If you can say the word good, guess what? It means you're still alive. It means you're still breathing. And if you're still breathing, well, then hell, you still got some fight left in you. So get up, dust off, reload, recalibrate, re-engage, and go out on the attack.
Jack, I see where your head's at. I'm not saying that's a bad question, but I think the reason no one's really asking that question, though, why are the Lions not going after Jared Verse now that he's with the Browns? I'd love to have Verse playing against the Rams in the playoffs. Yes, that would be an absolutely hilarious troll move. One, though, that probably is just not going to have happen, right? Just simply because has Brad Holmes really been that flashy of a deal maker, right? We're already into the all the ingredients already in the pot. How's that, right? So, there not a lot of recipes are going to call for a lot of added ingredients as you're kind of going along, right? Now, some things do and some things don't. But Brad Holmes, I think, once we get to this OTA mark, right, we got the 90 guys. I think he's got all the ingredients kind of already set on the pot, and just maybe some low-end acquisitions, but that has never really worked out. I'm thinking of the one wide receiver. Oh, who was that guy that we traded for? And I'm talking like early on in the Brad Holmes administration. Hodges? Daryl Hodges? Is that right? Brad Holmes just never really seems to be that big of a wheeling and dealing type guy, right? They're the think of last year when, oh my God, what are we going to do with the defensive end? Oh my God, we have no defensive end. We need to go get Big Z. All I heard was people pounding their fist. We need Big Z. Go get Zadarius Smith. Well, Zadarius Smith retired in the middle of the season. And just as I said, El-Qadim Muhammad was equally as productive, if not more productive, than Zadarius Smith is going to be. Because if you look at the numbers, he was equally as productive. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying it's a dumb question, right? I'm not trying to poo-poo you or nothing. I just don't think that the reality of Brad Holmes adding anything more, especially the drama of coming off of the Myles Garrett trade with Verse to the Browns and then adding more drama to the situation of the Browns letting him go to the Lions. On top of that, then you're going to have, obviously the Browns want draft capital versus a cheap addition that we could probably fit under the cap. I haven't looked into that, so I can't really speak to the number side of it. Shit, I forgot what I was going to say. Drama, the salary cap, something else. I can't remember what I was going to say. Shit, totally lost it. And it's gone. But I'm not like cheaper contract and a great fit, 2 first round. Oh, that's what it was, the picks. Brad Holmes would have to again contend with the whole Brad Holmes trading away draft picks, blah 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? But we'll see. I like Jared Verse. I don't think he's a bad player by any stretch, and it'd be nice to somehow acquire a talent like that. But I know that we're hanging imaginary hats and imaginary beards on Wanham and more, but I'd like to think that those guys are going to be contributing members to the team in a very, very high degree. You know what I'm saying? I was going, right, why bring in any of that to Detroit? I'm hoping that we get some type of a draft capital compensation for a minority hire. I'm bored of that. Yeah, affordable contract would be a great fit with this defense. That's true. Yeah, Ryan, it's an end of an era. Shout out Ryan Allen. How you doing, brother? Enjoying them day shift things, dude. Yeah, we'll be at the nighttime, dude. The nighttime is the right time. Come on, the nighttime is the right time. Okay. Imagine Verse. Yeah, so wasn't Jared Verse part of that that COVID type? Come on, camera. There we go. Come on, camera. There we go. Can't wait till the night. Yeah, hell yeah, Sam. I know some of you guys are going to be able to make it a little bit more regularly in the evening shows. We're probably going to lose a few of you guys from the morning shows, and that's okay. I completely understand. Always remember that we will be here Sunday mornings before kickoff doing our live stream morning show. Kind of. But I'm gonna be honest. We'll probably do if I do decide to gamble, it'll be very, very low, like dollar. You know what I mean? I'm not liking gambling anymore, and it's just kind of a waste of money for me. So there's probably not going to be too much as far as like big dollary dues being exchanged. We might do it, but we'll just kind of be hanging out. And I'm kind of thinking that, maybe the Sunday morning show becomes more of just kind of like a, faith, fellowship, and football type thing. You know what I'm saying? Where it's just a little bit of everything. More just like I want it to be like really chill. You know what I mean? I don't want to be all like stressed out and worked up and, fucking fighting with people and shit. It's just kind of a nice like, hang out before the Sunday or the Sunday slate of games, dude. I don't know, man. Fridays nights are going to be, I'm already telling you guys right now, Friday nights are going to be like laid back, dude. Friday nights are going to be like effectively just like mad happy hour the whole time, because the plan is Monday through Thursday, me and Hat and Boobs are going to be on a pretty militant schedule as far as time is concerned, right? Because I got to get up at like 4:30 in the morning in order to do everything I need to do before I can go to work. I can come home, do the bullshit, do the show, and then go right to bed, basically. You know what I mean? So like Friday nights are going to be like way more, unbuttoned and chilling. Because Friday nights are when me and her are going to chill afterwards. We're going to either go out, have dinner, grill dinner, go out, grab a bite to eat, something like that. You know what I mean? But Friday nights are going to be the chill and wrapping up the week, dude. Just kind of time to unwind here. It'll be a good time. I think the transition to the night show will be an absolute like banger of a situation. I'll be drinking beer and listening. Hell yeah, dude. That's kind of what I'm hoping for the Friday nights, is that like everybody's just like more just, I don't know, just kind of like Like, think of it as like, happy hour on a Friday night after a long week. Like, think of it as like a digital bar. You know what I'm saying, dude? Like, just come on in and like hang out, dude. We'll just talk about some football. We'll get ready for the hell. We might even talk a little college football or something, dude. I'm starting to expand my horizons as far as sports is concerned, dude. And I need to have more eyes on college football. To that end, you guys it's super weird, but I am so hype about the Michigan race this Sunday. I'm weirdly getting into racing. I can't explain it. I don't know why, but I am a Blaney and a Hocevar and a McDowell fan. Dude, McDowell is hilarious, dude. And the Nashville race was wild. Did any of you guys watch racing, dude? Like, they were hitting them turns, dude. Like, the rotors were glowing and exploding. Like, it was so wild, dude. It was wild. I didn't realize how cool racing was. You will not join the cult with me? Well, I'm sorry, dude. It'd be ironic. Wanted to upgrade at QB and took Stafford over Goff. McVay wanted an upgrade over Verse and got Garrett. Holmes is turning guys McVay throws away into the best players in the league. That's true, dude. You're right. If Brad Holmes made a play for Verse. Yeah, I figured that's what you meant, dude. All 22 did a good video praise of Goff yesterday. Oh, good, dude. Yeah, dude, I like that All 22 guy. That's what's up, dude. I'll have to check that out later tonight, dude, for sure. I know Wednesdays we normally do film study, a little bit of film watching, but with OTAs going on, we're kind of saving that ammo for a little bit more of the lull, between OTAs and training camp, right? So we're not going to milk that cow too much right now. We got to kind of got to save all of our bullets right there. You know what I'm saying? So Jim Schwartz, you guys, he was like, nope, y'all can get bucked. Todd deserved his own guy. A forced marriage isn't going to work in the NFL. And, like having command of the players and having command in a locker room, all those things are extremely important. And I didn't feel like I could do my job after getting passed over for that coaching job. It sort of, just put me in a tough position. Hey, we want you to listen to this guy, but we didn't want to make him that coach. Yeah, it's what did you expect to have happen, So I made the decision to resign, and I have to sit out this year as a result. But I think anybody that's been in any business, when you've done a good job, when you mentioned those numbers, we weren't one of the best defenses in 3 years. We were the best defense in 3 years. And the decision they made, that's their decision. But to expect me to stay and be on board for that, that's just a tough situation. And it wouldn't have been good for me, and it wouldn't have been good for Todd. So it was the best for him to get his own guy in there and to move forward with him, as opposed to just having an arranged marriage and having me there, and maybe having some players more loyal to me than him. It can just be a bad situation. 33 years in the NFL. I've never been around that before. So, that all went into the decision. I wasn't upset about it. I was disappointed about it. I wasn't upset about it. I wasn't mad about it, but it's just, my experience told me that wasn't going to be the situation that was going to work. The most obvious question is whether defensive end Myles Garrett would have wanted to stay with the Browns if Schwartz had become the head coach. Regardless, it's better for the Browns to have gotten significant value for the 30-year-old Garrett. With each passing year, that would have been harder to do. I don't know if, and I didn't think about that until I read that paragraph right there. Do you think that had anything? Do you think that Jim Schwartz not getting the head coaching job had anything to do with Myles Garrett maybe saying, okay, that's it. I'm done. I'm done with Cleveland. You guys are dumb. Do we know? Maybe Myles Garrett went to the brass and was like, you need to make Jim Schwartz the head coach, dude. And not for nothing. Good on Jim Schwartz for having enough awareness of himself and saying, no, I'm just going to step away from all of this. It's not going to work. I know myself enough. I know how the business works. I know how the players are going to handle this. This is going to be infinitely worse for everybody involved. So guess what? I'm just going to fall on my fucking sword then and take one for the team, right? And good on Jim Schwartz. Bad on the Browns for being assholes on 2 degrees. You know what? The Cleveland Browns are the whole ass. They have 2 cheeks and a big old brown hole, dude. They had 2 cheeks, right? Because one, they interviewed and then didn't hire Jim Schwartz while expecting him to stay on staff, Like, that wasn't going to be an ego blow. He's been there before. It wasn't like this would be his first crack at a head coaching job, right? Personally, I was a Jim Schwartz fan here in Detroit. Okay? You know, it is what it is. So sue me. I like the character of Jim Schwartz. Seems like a fun guy, right? And secondly, bad on the Cleveland Browns for making him have to sit out the duration of his contract. Like, you already shit in the man's hat once, and then you shit in the man's hat a second time, right? Now you're like, oh, no, I'm going to take my ball and go home. You don't get to play. That's just fucking lame, dude. All of this is why the Browns are always going to be the Cleveland Browns. It's why the Browns will never get out of under the basement of the league. This is why they are and will always be the mistake by the lake, right? Compare and contrast it, baby. Look what the Lions were able to do over the last 6 years. Right? Yeah, the Browns had a little flash there from 18 to 21, I think. A little flash. No real long-lasting effects. Hell, pretty much every player from that regime. I think Myles Garrett was the last guy on roster. He gone. He says, bye-bye. I ain't going to get no ring here. We're in a down AFC year. I ain't going to get no ring here. I'll go to the NFC West, to the LA Rams, who have the defending Super Bowl champions in their division, in the NFC, which is, not for nothing, probably the more brutal of the two conferences. Yeah, I got a little bit of biasy. I'm a Lions fan. Get fucked. I don't care. Fuck yourself. I don't care. The North is the best division in all of football, and I don't care. So one does have to wonder, is there some type of NFL, is the losses financially for the Cleveland Browns, is this some type of like a tax sink, a tax write-off, a money washing situation? Hey, you have to be bad lest 31 other teams can't function without you just like cleaning the money for us, you piece of shit. I don't know, man. I'm biased. I like Jim Schwartz. I always like Jim Schwartz. Seems like a fun guy. And personally, hey guys, let's just walk this perfect scenario. Oh shit! Oh shit! Let's walk this perfect scenario. Let's go! Let's go! Head beard claim it right now. Lions gonna have a top 10 defense this year under Calvin Shepard. Everyone come back, be healthy, strong. Brian Branch even comes back late into the season for a big playoff push. Calvin Shepard was a candidate who was interviewed by the Miami Dolphins just this last offseason. Now, did he deserve it? No, I don't think so. As far as a coaching X's and O's standpoint, you have done nothing that impresses me. As far as a leadership standpoint, oh shit! Calvin Shepard's leader of men, dude. Calvin Shepard. Hell, I'd run through a brick wall for Calvin Shepard, and then another one for Dan Campbell. Hell, dude, if Dan Campbell and Calvin Shepard were getting me hyped one on the other, I could run through 2 brick walls. That's the type of leadership Calvin Shepard is, right? So, my point being, but everything works out. Lions going Super Bowl. We already know that, right? Big 2-6 in the Big 2-6. Jared Goff's going to have 26 touchdowns in the Super Bowl. He's going to rush for 13. He's going to throw for 13. 26 in the Big 2-6. Lions win Super Bowl. Obviously, we know what's going to have happen. Coaches are going to get plucked away, namely Calvin Shepard, a Super Bowl winning defensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions. Look at what he did in 2 years. Wow. Hooray, Calvin Shepard. Gimme draft picks. Who do the Lions then bring in as their next defensive coordinator? Well, a man who has just sat out for an entire year of football, who's got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, and who is familiar with the Motor City. Yes, if all things go the way that they should go, Jim Schwartz this time next year will be the Lions defensive coordinator because Calvin Shepard will be the head coach elsewhere. That place yet to be determined. But yes, I think this is what's going to have happen. I'm calling for it right now. Bring in the Schwartz. The Schwartz! I see your Schwartz is as big as mine. The Schwartz is strong with this one, and I would like to have that happen. How do we feel, Mad Hatter Nation? I trade Shep for Schwartz. Hell yeah, guys. Yo, is that a Riley? Yo, Riley, what's good, pimpin'? How you doing, man? I haven't seen you in a couple days, dude. Hopefully you're doing good. I was an instant race fan when I went camping there. There was 750,000 people. Hell yeah, dude. That's what's up, bro. Dude, that's what's up, Sam. I'm glad there's some of you guys that like racing too. I'm just getting into it, man. I'm just getting into it. I used to I didn't watch it, but I had friends that watched it when I was in like elementary school. So like I'm so like unfamiliar with racing that I for real was like, what the fuck is a stage? What are stages in racing? Because like I remember watching racing when they had open face masks and there wasn't the like head contraption thing. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of, shout out though the tech dude, because that the at the Cracker Barrel 600 just this last weekend down in Nashville, that one rookie who races for he drives the Red Bull. Was it Red? I think it's like the Red Bull 99 car or something like that. He had his rotor explode, and they had the inboard or in-dash cam showing him. Holy shit, the force that them fucking dude, it was very impressive. It was very impressive, dude. It was very impressive. You know what I'm saying? Jim Short's ego got bruised. That's true. You're not wrong, dude. You're not wrong. No surprising that you're getting into racing, seeing that you've got a collar of blue and a neck of red. Yeah, Kane. So we was sitting there a couple weeks ago. I was watching it, and I was just staring at the TV, and I like snapped out of a trance, and I looked at Hat and Boobs, and I was like, "Oh shit, I think I like this." She's like, "Yeah, you've just been gone. You've just been locked in." And if you like, it's just something hypnotic when they show the camera of them coming out of a turn, and it's just boom, 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 boom. You know what I'm saying, dude? Like there is just something about that sound. There is something about watching like these highly tuned mechanical devices be pushed to their absolute limit. There's something like beautiful about watching a pit crew operate with such just like it's like a dance. You know what I'm saying? How fast these motherfuckers go. And then you sit there and you go, "Oh my God, they're driving 170 miles an hour." Like it's wild. It just blew my mind, dude. So Riley, how you doing, man? How you doing, bro? How you doing, dude? Good to see you, man. You been doing all right? We have two OCs. Why not two DCs? Yeah, Raw. I'm with you on that, dude. Yeah, that's a good point though. Raw, his ego's Jim Schwartz's ego's too big to. I don't know about maybe. I don't know. Maybe a year off. I don't know if he could get another head coaching job after a year, but I'd like to see him back in Detroit. But I don't know about being a second defensive coordinator, being carried off the field in Detroit. So we can go to a race. The noise is next level. The concussion is insane. So, Mr. Figs, you like racing too, then, my guy? It's like I hated racing, dude. I was like, I don't understand it. Y'all are a bunch of fucking hillbillies watching cars drive fast and turn left. And you know what it was? Actually, this is what it was. Kyle Busch died. Kyle Busch died, and so over the last like year, I watched the Earnhardt documentary series on Amazon, and then Kyle Busch died, and like I don't know, man. Racing is so based, dude. It's so based, and it's just so like refreshing to remember what we once had as an American culture. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying that it's got to be all the redneck hillbilly bullshit, but just, God, family, and country. You know what I'm saying, dude? Like, they are unapologetically Christian, U.S. and family focused, dude. Like it is arguably and the fact that it's just pure, just racing, just stock car racing. Dude, it's based. How can you not be a patriot and not get excited about it in some capacity, dude? Like, I'm so based that I'm like, what the fuck is a Toyota doing out there? Racing is mesmerizing colors, the sound. Yeah, dude, that's exactly it. The Intimidator was your favorite? Hell yeah, dude. That's what's up, bro. Mr. Fix. So Mr. Fix, you've done Rick, you watch it. Y'all low-key race watchers, huh? Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Let's connect, dude. Let's continue to connect on this, bro. I like it, dude. It's fascinating, man. It is just fascinating. You just have to look out for those garage door. Yeah, no shit, dude. No shit. Yeah. Those maniacal garage door loops. Hell yeah, guys. Hell yeah. That's what's up, you guys. Based. So the Lions signed Chris Greer. Hooray, hooray, hooray. Whoopity-doo, whoopity-doo. Greer's time in the Dolphins will likely be defined by some big hits and big misses. Early in his career, he had some big hits with Laramie Tunsil, Xavier Howard, Minka Fitzpatrick, and, of course, the guy that we know all too well, a poor man's Alex Anzalone, Andrew Van Stinkel. But the miss on quarterbacks Tua Tagovailoa looms large, as did the pricey trade for Tyreek Hill that never got Miami over the top. In his final year, the Dolphins roster was in serious need for talent, resulting in a disappointing 7-10 overall record. Under Grier, the Dolphins went 77-80 over 10 seasons. Prior to his time as a general manager, Grier was the director of college scouting for the Dolphins from 2007 to 2015, serving under 3 different GMs, Randy Mueller, Jeff Ireland, and Dennis Hickey. Before that, he was a scout with the Dolphins from 2000 to 2002, and the Patriots from 95 to 99. Where he fits in, no one quite really knows, as here's a list of the executives we already have. I think it's pretty obvious he will be in some form. Look, if clearly his background is in scouting, right? Now, correct me if I'm wrong here. Isn't there somebody else in the Lions organization who's kind of at one of the higher ends of the front office whose background is in scouting? Yeah. Oh, man. If only I could remember who that is. But that being said, I'm going to assume that Chris Grier is being brought in to continue to find good talent. What does Brad Holmes like to do? He likes to build through the draft. I'm not saying that every player that Chris Grier found was lights up, but Laramie Tunsil, Xavier Howard, Minka Fitzpatrick, and Andrew Van Ginkel are all pretty talented players, right? You can even throw Jalen Waddle, Devin Achane, right? There are guys that he has found. Now, obviously he wasn't able to put it all together, and that's probably because Chris Grier, if you look at the players that he selected who ultimately worked out, and even the players that he selected that didn't work out, Chris Grier doesn't look for that psych profile that Brad Holmes has on people. So maybe this is Chris Grier eating his hat a little bit, humbling himself, saying, please, I need to learn what it is that you know before I can continue to ascend in the ranks of NFL or potentially get back to a GM type role. That's possible. Or maybe Brad Holmes goes, I need more eyes. I need more eyes. I want more eyes. Give me as many eyes on as many college players as I can possibly get, because I build through the draft. That's what I would lean into, is he's probably just being brought into scouting. But again, I'm not a big fan of people failing upwards. Yes, sir. I might be thinking about Bradley Holmes. Yes, sir. Grier should stick to UFOs because he stinks at foosball. That's awesome. Hell yeah, dude. You know, and Mr. Figs, the thing about having more Intimidator fans, you know, I wasn't like a big racing fan, and so I can't sit here like okay, you want to know who I liked as a kid? Mike Skinner, because he never won a race. That's who I liked, right? But I respect the body of work that Dale Earnhardt did. And then when you look at how he did kind of revolutionize the sport and bring it into the modern era, bring it into, you know, more of a rock star type feel, you know. I grew up in the era, you know, he was around. Junior was just kind of coming on the scene, you know. My buddy was a big Bill Elliott fan. I remember Terry and Bobby Lobani. I started to kind of get away from racing right about the time that Tony Stewart was kind of coming on the scene, so I kind of fell off then, and then just recently kind of came on. The only reason personally that I like the drivers that I like Blaney because of his mustache. I like Hocevar because of his attitude, and I like McDowell because he's funny as shit, and he had lions on his fucking shoes, dude. I thought that was hilarious, bro. I was like, right on. There's my guy, Hat and Boobs, looked at me. She's like, so that's your guy, right? I'm like, yeah. You was a Mike Skinner fan too? No shit, bro. Nobody ever knows. When I say Mike Skinner, nobody knows who the fuck I'm talking about, dude. That's awesome, bro. Dude, like, I didn't realize how much I knew about racing until we were watching it Sunday night, and there was the rain delay, and they kick it over, and they're like, our special guest, and I look at Happy Moves, I go, well, that's Mark Martin, and she goes, who? And they're like, our special guest, Mark Martin, and I'm like, how the fuck do I know that that's Mark Martin? There you go, dude. Sam, yeah, racing gave us an excuse to go to the bar where the waitresses just wear skimpy bathing suits. There you go, bro. Exactly. Dale had the stash and the attitude. Yeah, exactly. And that's when I watched the Amazon documentary about him, I was just like, damn, dude. Yeah, I was like, I get why people were so like about it when he was racing. You know what I'm saying? When he was driving, dude, or basically when he was alive, I get it. And like I respect it. I can't sit here and say that I'm a fan because I didn't watch him. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't in it then watching him then, but like now as an adult, I'm like, oh yeah, I'd have been such a big Earnhardt fan. I'd have been a huge dude. If Earnhardt was racing now, I would be an obnoxious Dale Earnhardt fan. For real, for real. You know what I'm saying? I thought Dale Earnhardt was assassinated and then he died getting barley bumped. If Rubbin is racing, how the fuck did the bump kill Dale? Didn't it snap his neck, dude? Didn't he like break his neck or something like that? I don't know. NFL experts say the Lions quietly made one of the most important free agent moves of this offseason. That is bringing in Roger McCreary. There were no big splashes outside of Cade Mays. It was a quiet period. Hey, look who we got here! Just real quick, I just noticed this. Check it out, Raw. Look, it's your boy Giovanni Manu. There you go. God damn it. It was quite quiet period that relied on finding younger talent that could either step in and be starters or be really solid at dependable depth. Despite that, ESPN's Ben Slowak thinks the Lions quietly made one of the most important moves of the offseason with their signing of cornerback Roger McCreary. Every year, the Super Bowl winning teams go out and sign one guy who doesn't get a ton of attention and doesn't dominate the news cycle, but winds up being a difference maker for the team that goes all the way. Slowak thinks McCreary is that guy for the Lions. Quote, when we look back at the most important offseason move that didn't get discussed at the time, think linebacker Zach Bond to the Eagles or defensive tackle DeMarcus Lawrence to the Seahawks, we will highlight cornerback Roger McCreary to the Lions. He was traded from a sleepy Titans team to the Rams mid-season, but then failed to see major action after a hip injury a few weeks later. McCreary has inside-out versatility on a Lions team that needs more reliable coverage players. When I like where Slowak's head is at. When the Lions signed McCreary, my first thought right off the bat was that he definitely has the ability to be the Lions' starting slot corner from day one. I thought that too. When I seen we signed Roger McCreary, I was like, he is the replacement for Amik. That's as soon as we signed him, I was like, yep, that's who. I wasn't over the moon about it. I wasn't disappointed about it. I was like, yep. I am not whelmed. I am not underwhelmed. I am not overwhelmed. I am not underwhelmed. I am simply whelmed. It was exactly just like yeah, just hit the clown right on the nose. Just, boop, just reached out and pumped up, just boop, right on the nose. You know what I'm saying? Like that's exactly, yep, no surprise there. Let me get this fucking ad out of the way. I can't stand this stupid ad style that A to Z does, dude. It really irritates me. Really irritates me. The only pause I have is that the Lions pulled off one of the biggest steals of the draft in Keith Abney. And I think Abney can compete for the job. It's a really good problem to have for Detroit, for sure. But it could potentially throw a wrench in the idea Slowak is trying to get across. Yes, yes, yes. I just got to say, shout out. I just want to make sure that this was the slipper. I'm pretty sure it's, yeah. Shout out the slipper, Mike Payton. You, me, and everybody else that's actually watching talent are like, Keith Abney. Got him. Let's go. I do have a bit of a counter to Slowak's argument in the form of offering up a different player who is quietly signed but can be a difference maker. We're not talking about Chuck Clark nearly enough. Right now, we don't know what the story is with Kirby Joseph, and we don't know when Brian Branch will be back. The Lions went out and quietly signed Clark, who has started 80 games and was the Ravens' starting safety for years. He's never been a Pro Bowl or anything like that. but he's about as steady a hand on the wheel as you can ask for without breaking the bank. He also has a strong run defender, much like Branch. I think the comp here for the Lions is Rock Ya-Sin last year. Just a dude who gets his hands dirty and quietly gets the job done, puts his hard hat on, and goes to work. That's kind of what I felt about McCreary and Chuck Clark. You know, neither one of them are like, you know, you're not doing backflips about it, but you go, I see what we do have here in this player, and I see what Brad Holmes was trying to do in this acquisition. This is a solid play. I think at this point in their career, personally, I think McCreary is better than Amik Robertson was in Detroit. So I do think we upgrade at that position without being, you know, woo, over the moon about it. You know what I'm saying? So how do you guys feel about the Roger McCreary signing? Do you agree with that? Isn't Clark 30-something? Yeah, I think he's 30, maybe 31. Yeah, but he's not being brought in to be the long-term solution. It's starting caliber experience in a high caliber defense being brought over for a reserve and temporarily starting role, ideally, you know. McCreary is good in close quarters, but he looks bad chasing wide receivers. Yep, and that's why Kirby Joseph will be back there to make sure it looks good. Dale's the Chuck Norris of racing. I love it, dude. I love it. Oh, I love it. Dale didn't want to wear the safety gear. Yeah, that's what I thought, because Dale was like one of the last guys who wore the open face mask, right? I thought Dale Earnhardt was that's why they came up with the neck harness. Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm pretty sure that it was after Dale died that's when they kind of like mandated the fucking dude, if you see the way those guys are locked in, they look like they're about to fucking blast off to the moon, which we've never been to. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. I don't want honestly, I don't want Mercury outside either, guys. I don't. I like him tucked in at that slot corner spot. Dale didn't die in Daytona. He just finished first in the race of life. That's awesome. Yeah. See, and that's guys. I think we're all seeing the same thing about Roger McCreary. Good nickel, good slot guy inside the box. Kind of come in and just kind of plug it and play, bang around a little bit for a few weeks until, you know, either Branch is back healthy or Abney overtakes that role, dude. I think I felt that when we got McCreary, it was a 1-to-1 replacement for the expectation and role that was hung on Amik Robertson, right? We then were able to go out and grab Keith Abney. With both of those acquisitions, retaining Rock Ya-Sin, retaining Avonte Maddox, yes, I am rooting for Rakestraw. I am. Because you don't want to see a guy flounder out of the league because of injuries, right? That's really not much that they can have happen or control. But McCreary, Abney, I know people are feeling more pressure, saying more pressure on TA. I think this is the more pressure on Rakestraw. I think TA can and has shown that he is a viable option on the outside. Unfortunately, a lot of injuries, a lot of penalties, and he does need that roaming safety back there if he's going to be put out on an island. That's just the reality of TA. We put him out on man coverage, and without a guy like Kirby Joseph or Brian Branch back there to help back him up, he's going to get exposed, unfortunately. Hasn't been polished up that much. To that point, then, if he's playing better than Rakestraw, how bad is Rakestraw? You know, but Chuck Clark is a second stringer and good depth. Don't want him taking meaningful snaps when games online. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Chuck Clark, one of them, the Slipper had him said is more of a Rock Ya-Sin type player. Rock Ya-Sin. I was gonna say Avonte Maddox. You know, just a valuable asset, but you don't want them playing 18 games at your safety one. You know what I'm saying? Enjoying the show. Hit the like button. Thank you so much, Raw. I appreciate it. I'm gonna go ahead and pin that, dude. Thank you for that little CTA right there, that call to action. I'm pretty bad about that, dude. And not for nothing, guys. Normally Brandy was pretty good about plugging the show. Has anybody seen Brandy at all? Like anywhere on the internet at all? Is she still a viable person? I kind of noticed she hasn't been around. So, all right, let's go ahead and we gotta finish off the day Lions NFL analyst predicts Jahmyr Gibbs to win the 2026 Offensive Player of the Year in the Big 2-6. Big things in the Big 2-6. 2,600 yards of offensive production, 26 offensive touchdowns for Jahmyr Gibbs in the Big 2-6. Hutch is going to have 26 sacks. NFL Network's Kyle Brandt, who is one of my favorite commenters and personalities on NFL Network, along with my girl right here, Jamie Erdahl. Look at her. Look at Jamie Erdahl with the we're in LA now. I have the LA blonde short haircut. It's not a bad look. Offers a get that mid part over just a little bit more though. That's borderline a mid part. Get it over side part. Get that side. What is this mid side part here? Get it all. Either commit to the side or commit to the mid there, Jamie Erdahl. Right now you look like a teacher. Jahmyr Gibbs will win Offensive Player of the Year according to Kyle Brandt. Off-season workouts have only just begun. But one NFL analyst is already convinced that the Detroit Lions running back Jahmyr Gibbs will truly have a, quote, superstar-level season, as if he hasn't already. Good Morning Football's Kyle Brandt said on the show Monday that he expects Gibbs will explode in the Big 2-6. What do we have here? Come on. Oh, fiddlesticks.
And a lot of people were shocked to find the Lions there. They had a 9-8 finish. Let's go back to the NFC North, shall we? Let's look at the bottom of the division from last season. And a lot of people were shocked to find the Lions there. They had a 9-8 finish. It was a stumble towards the end around the holidays. But their head coach, Dan Campbell, spoke over the weekend about how Detroit plans to regain their old recent form.
I do think, man, just getting back to a little bit of the no-nonsense, it's a lot easier when nobody knows who you are. Now you kind of fly right under the radar, but then the better you do, the more hype, the more you're doing this. And it's all this other stuff that has nothing to do with what got us to that point, that gave everybody, we all reap the benefits of that. It's just a little bit, let's get back to that, man.
Yeah.
Let's just get back to the business of what it is. It's
playing
about
football.
First and foremost. And it's about the guy next to you. That's it.
All right, so keep that in mind.
2026
Lions
Detroit
last 2
Lions
seasons
are living the motto of Star Kiss. Stop, think, act, review, keep it simple, stupid. Star Kiss.
Gone backwards slowly since losing to the 49ers in that 2023 NFC title game. The title game in which Dan Campbell said after the fact, I know how hard it is to even get here. And now he realizes and has lived the backslide. But this team still has a ton of offense to explode off of, which includes Jared Goff, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. So, guys, what do we make of the Lions heading into 2026, Mike G, and how they can turn this trend back up the mountain?
Yeah, I love the Lions. Last year, going into the season, if you looked at expected win totals, that's the way I like to do it. Everybody says, well, strength of schedule based on what happened the year before. Year before is over, right?
I hate that.
Expected win totals for this year. They were one of the toughest, if not the toughest. I don't remember. Now, I believe they're the easiest. I hate to say easy when it comes to the NFL. That word keeps coming out here. But least daunting schedules, I'll put it to you that way.
Okay.
I think that's number one. Number two, lost both both coordinators last year, had to replace them middle of the season. Dan Campbell takes over play calling. That was just too much for that team to handle both before the season and during the season. Frank Ragnow, that situation.
I feel like that's all the same things we've been saying, guys.
Training camp, one of their defensive linemen escapes me right now, but it was like you saw it coming into the season. Now, things feel a little reset, and also you're getting the second year under Kelvin Shepard as the defensive coordinator. So from a coaching staff perspective, adding Drew Petzing there, you see him right now, the new offensive coordinator. I know they believe highly in what he's going to be able to do. And Shepard's the big key, as I think this defense got the chance to really...
No, dude, no. Shepard is the big key. The big key is the split between Petzing and Kafka. Those are the big things that they're not talking about. That divide is going to allow Dan Campbell to assist in the development of the defense with Calvin Shepard. It's less pressure on Dan Campbell and two beautiful big brains coming in to control the offense, guys. We all need to shave our heads, dude. It's the Detroit shaved heads.
Take another step forward under him. And all the great things that I heard about him, I think are going to start to come to fruition here in Detroit. So I just feel like this is a team that's going to...
Hang on. Damn, dude. I didn't realize how little Drew Petzing was. Guys, this is Drew Petzing's head. This is Kyler Murray. This is Drew Petzing. Kyler Murray's like 4 inches taller than him. Holy shit. I mean, I didn't realize that Lil Spud was literally Lil Spud. I just thought it was a funny nickname. Holy crappers, dude. Wow, wow, wee, wah.
I think are going to start to come to fruition here in Detroit. So I just feel like this is a team that's going to go back to dictating things the way that they did in 23 and 24 before this past season.
It speaks to Dan Campbell that we're sitting here talking about the Detroit Lions going 9-8 last year as this huge disappointment. I mean, there were times when...
I want to rewind. Listen to this. Listen to what Kyle Brandt says. And tell me that is not what I've been trying to drill into people for the last 2 or 3 years. Listen.
Or before this past season.
It speaks to Dan Campbell that we're sitting here talking about the Detroit Lions going 9-8 last year as this huge disappointment. I mean, there were times when Lions fans would have cut off a finger to win 9 games. Like, that was unthinkable. 9-8. That's the state of the nation for the Lions. They matter. They matter every single year. Here's why I think they'll matter this year, and the reason to be optimistic. And Jamie, I've said this before, I'll say it again. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be the offensive player of the year this year. I think he is going to be nuclear stratosphere in sort of like an investment in a player. There's no one I am all in more
damn,
than
Gibbs
0
is
for
fast.
the Detroit Lions, who now
he's just
I know
so
Pacheco's there,
smooth.
but like this is going to be Beyonce leaving Destiny's Child type stuff. I really do think that. He has been a great tandem, and we love the Sonic and Knuckles, and I believe he even got it tattooed on himself. That was awesome. And I love David Montgomery. He gone, and Jahmyr Gibbs is one of the true guys who can be a solo artist. And I'm talking like, we don't give MVPs to running backs and blah, blah, blah. It's kind of annoying. Offensive player of the year level stuff for Jahmyr Gibbs. You don't have the offensive player of the year and not make the playoffs. McCaffrey was spectacular last year at running back. The Niners, I just think Lions are having problems. I don't think they're a perfect team. I think they're going to have close to a perfect running back, and I think he's going to be a superstar this year. That's what you look at if you're the Lions fans.
For as hard as it might be for us to plan for prediction week, and we all have to pick our division winners, and we put our 14 total teams in the playoffs, the NFC North, we might force everyone's hand to pick the team that's going to finish last, because that actually might be just as challenging as the team that will win that division. The North
the
is
Bears
so
are
fun
going
to
to finish
talk about.
last.
We've already talked about 3 of them.
Because they're not going to win a game. It's hard to finish first when you don't win any games. Fuck up out of here. So yeah, there you go. That's a Drew. I agree with Kyle Brandt. And guys, pay attention. Pay attention to what now the national media is going to be saying about the Lions. Because I'm telling you right now, you guys are going to get bored with it. You guys are going to get fucking bored with what the media has been saying about the Detroit Lions this year. Why? Well, because you're part of Mad Hatter Nation, and you've been listening to the Hat and Beard Show. And it's all the same shit. You're hearing it now. It's what we've been saying for months now. Everything I've been saying about the Detroit Lions, the future, moving forward, the mentality, the positioning of the team, how the season could potentially go, the projections on players. Everybody else is starting to see it too. And you have been on the cutting edge. Ha! Look at us go. Look at us. Ha! Oh, look at us. Like, comment, subscribe. Share this video around with all of your friends, guys. We're going to go ahead and get up on out of here today. It has been a wild Wednesday for us, guys. Make sure that you keep your Twitters open. Follow me on Twitter for more fun stuff. Go ahead and keep an eye out on the ground for any OTA news coming out for the Lions. Right, we got more week 2 stuff, action coming at you. We'll be talking about it tomorrow, guys. Hopefully you have a good rest of your day. Stay out of trouble. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Until tomorrow, I'm James of the Hat and Beard Show. You've been an attentive audience. We'll see you then. Bonga bonga. Frig off.